So now we have Dr. Cara Rabe Hemp. She's professor at Illinois State University. Her research also focuses on policing. Specifically, she's interested in how diversity in policing affects police behavior as well as opportunities in the field. She has been extremely successful in bridging the gap between theory and practice. Recently, she published 2 books on women in policing. Today, she will talk about women's participation in peace and security.
Good morning. In 2017, Congress made history when it passed the Women, Peace, and Security Act, recognizing that women's participation in peace and security is a matter of global importance. This act ensures that women have a stronger presence in conflict resolution efforts, with greater opportunities for peacekeeping and more protections for those impacted by post-conflict reconstruction. As law enforcement agencies in the United States face an unprecedented concern about police-community relationships and pleas for less forceful police-citizen interactions, the successes of the WPS Act suggest that the diversification of police agencies and the inclusion and the advancement of women in policing may have the ability to transform police organizations. The positive benefits that women bring to policing have been empirically established. Women are less likely to use force against citizens and suspects, especially excessive force, meaning that their increased representation in policing means more peaceful police-citizen relationships. They are also less likely to be named in lawsuits and in citizen complaints, which saves agencies and taxpayer dollars. Female officers take reports of domestic violence and sexual assault seriously and follow up on those reports, preventing future violent attacks for victims. These positive benefits improve how law enforcement agencies do their work and the services that they provide to communities. But in addition to the benefits that women bring to the communities that they protect, research also confirms that women serve as change catalysts within police organizations. As change catalysts, women contest the status quo. They add a unique perspective based on their socialization experiences. In response, organizations are forced to rethink how they do the work that they do, producing organizations that are more open to change and to reform. This involves innovation in policy and in decision-making within the organization. Specific to policing, agencies that have female leadership and greater representation profit from innovative recruitment and retention policies, the establishment of family-friendly policies, and more transformative leadership styles. It is important as we consider the future of women in policing that we do not take past efforts for granted. For the very first time since women have entered policing, the number of women is decreasing, from 14% in 1999 to 12% in 2013, and those numbers, we believe, will continue to dip. The decline has been seen in supervisory and command positions, where leadership has the most potential to impact policies as well as procedures. A host of enduring challenges, inequities, and cultural complications still exist in this very male-dominated occupation, including recruitment practices that overemphasize upper body strength, which we know physiologically disadvantage women, the continued resistance to women in the police culture, and the lack of family-friendly policies. These issues must be addressed to ensure future generations of female law enforcement officers and leaders. The following policy recommendations regarding the inclusion of female officers are important to this change. First, Congress must carefully monitor the progress of the Women, Peace, and Security Act to ensure that action is taken to fulfill policy objectives of the Act. Specifically, Congress must ensure that the President and his administration create strategies for implementation. Doing so will encourage the increased participation of women in peace and in security, not only in programs funded by the United States regarding training specific to foreign nationals, but also in domestic programs as well. Second, Efforts for more inclusive and representative police departments must be established and maintained. The WPS Act requires training programs on the value of women's participation in the areas of conflict resolution and peace building. The extension of this training to local, state, and federal U.S. police leaders may prompt a commitment to the recruitment and retention of women in law enforcement. Important to this solution is the process of incentivizing diversity and inclusion measures for agencies receiving federal funding, especially community-oriented policing services grants. Finally, we must identify the barriers of recruitment, retention, and promotion of women in law enforcement and the promising practices for overcoming these barriers. In closing, the potential for enduring change through the inclusion and advancement of women in law enforcement is too great to risk the continued consequences of the lack of diversity in criminal justice professions in the world. Thank you.